Man, they've been sleeping on the Hoka Stack Flow. What do you guys think? Do you think they're sleeping on the Hoka Stack Flow? I think they're sleeping on the Hoka Stack Flow. So before we get into our Saturday 1 take, this actually might be a Saturday 3 take because I have to drop this in the front of the video, and then I was doing a bunch of shenanigans. But before we get into the video, if you're not signed up for the Supwell app, make sure to do that. Few reasons why you should be signed up for the Supwell app. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to be here to convince you. I'm just going to tell you what you can get on the Supwell app. First thing, gently used running shoe marketplace. You can buy, sell, and trade the best performance running shoes out there that have a few miles on them from other hobby joggers, or maybe even no miles. People are popping out with the 0-mile shoes because they don't work for them and they don't want to return them because they want to pass it on to another hobby jogger. Second, the best place to get advice, share, training, tips, hear from other people who've been in the same situation who are looking to get better. And then the third thing, the merch. I'm dropping exclusive merch on the Supwell app. I'm not even going to tell you what it is, but it's going to be up there for all the loyal Supwell app subscribers. We got 1,000+ people in there. If you want to get in at the day 1 tier price of $1 per month, join now because the price of the brick is going up. Let's get into today's video. All right, man, you already know what it is. 1 Take Saturday. We are out here getting active on 1 Take Saturday. So I'm gonna go through my 5 favorite daily trainers right now. I've done my 5 favorite long run shoes. I've done my 5 favorite race shoes, 5 best shoes for sub 3 marathons, best shoes for sub 4 marathons. And guess what? I just ran the marathon. I ran the Chicago Marathon 13 days ago, 2:39 PR. I'm proud of that one, baby. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of consistency. That's a lot of miles at race pace. Miles at race pace. Go watch the training videos that we've been putting up. So today, what I want to do is the 5 favorite daily trainers, the 5 favorite shoes that I'm using right now to crush a lot of miles. We're in a base building period. What is a base building period? Well, a base building period, how many times can I say base building period, is when we build up mileage. We build up that foundation. Base equals foundation, a foundation of fitness to then layer on specific adaptation. So no matter if we're training for a 10K, a half marathon, a marathon, an ultra marathon, we want to have our aerobic base, our cardio, our general endurance to be strong. So that's what I'm doing right now, crushing a lot of miles. We're working back up to 100 miles per week. This week I'm going to hit around 80. I think I'm at 60 something right now, so I'll do an 18 to 20 mile long run tomorrow. That'll put me to 80, and then next week we're back to our regularly scheduled programming at 100 miles a week. So in my left hand here, I have the New Balance 1080 V13, and it's a very soft shoe. However, what I've been realizing during this base building period is that I'm not loving the super soft and squishy shoes. I tried the New Balance 1080 V14 the day before Chicago, so that was before we dove back into the base building period, but just wasn't doing it for me. I've run a few times in the Glide Ride Max, and it wasn't doing it for me a whole lot either. So some of the shoes, most of these shoes out here are on the more structured, cushioned side. That's what I've been gravitating towards right now. I'm liking having some support while also having that cushion underfoot. So that's why I also want to do my 5 favorite shoes right now, given the period of training I'm in. I'm not saying these are the 5 best shoes on the market. It's just what I'm going toward right now. And if you're in a mileage building period, you might like some of these shoes as well. So let's kick it off here with the first shoe, New Balance 1080 V13. Now this is not, we got to do a little adjustment here. Bang. So funny enough, this is not a current model shoe. This is also not a firm shoe. This is a very soft shoe. But with the 1080 V14 coming out, I went back to this shoe. When I was testing the 1080 V14, I actually took this out and I started wearing it again. I started using it to drive Mace to school. I used it to go to the Charlotte Knights minor league baseball game. And ever since then, I've been wearing it once or twice a week. I used it last week. There was this arts walk at our school on Saturday, and I used it for that. So this is back in my casual rotation, and it reminded me of how much I love this shoe. The 1080 V14 is great as well, but there's something special about this shoe. It has that magic quality that puts it in that upper echelon for me of one of my favorite shoes of all time. So I have 300 running miles on it, and now I'm just in the casual rotation. This is the beautiful Columbia blue colorway. You can't find this one anywhere anymore, but Running Warehouse does have 8 to 10 colorways of this still on sale. So if you're looking for a softer daily trainer, a softer everyday running shoe, or a nice casual drip shoe, I know my guy Jeff Hardy, he loves this shoe for drip. He has it in the all white, which I do believe is on Running Warehouse still. I'm not exactly sure. They have a ton of colorways, but if you use my code that's on the Supwell app, you can get this for $110 or $115. So go ahead and check it out. 1080V13. This is my top pick right now for a softer daily trainer. I'll take this over the GlideRide Max, and I'd take it over the 1080V14, given that you can find this at $100 or $115 with our Supwell app code. So let's go low price to high price. Next up here at the $160 price point, we have the Bang. This might be a surprise to some people. Is this going to be a surprise to some people or not? I don't know. This is the Hoka Skyflow, also known as the Hoka Stack Flow, and it's in the white and gold Michelob Ultra colorway here. And this is the shoe that reinvigorated my love. Let's see, how are your shadows doing? So it's always hard when we film right in broad day. I think that's good. Front yard, broad day, what the heck? Bow! Say Gucci, that's my hobby, jogging brother. Hoka Stack Flow reinvigorated my, what's the right word? I was thinking the right word. It's not love. It's not enthusiasm. There's a different word I'm thinking of, but this made me like firmer shoes again. I was doing a lot of soft shoes earlier this year, and last year a lot of soft shoes as well. I haven't liked a firm shoe this much since the Saucony Endorphin Shift 3, and that's one of my favorite all-time shoes as well. I got that up to 350 or 360 miles. I could take it out still and get some good miles in it, and it was one of those shoes where even when I crossed 300 miles, which is when I typically retire shoes, and I had other shoes in the rotation, I would just keep going back to that shoe because it felt so good. And this reminds me of that shoe a lot. Lower drop, this is a 5mm drop. The Shift was a 4mm drop. A firmer, more structured foam that comes alive with pace. So I ran in the GlideRide Max on, I think it was Tuesday, and then I took this out on Wednesday. No, I ran the GlideRide Max Wednesday. I took this out on Thursday. And the difference between having that soft, mushy platform and the firmer, more structured platform right now is huge to me. I'm still rebuilding. I'm still recovering. So these firmer shoes, they have more the firmer shoes, they have more stability. They make it easier to run. And the other benefit of this guy is the rocker. The rocker on this is just beautiful. So the curve on the bottom here, this is an underrated shoe. It's not going to get the most pop. It's not the most exciting. And this entire market segment of $160 shoes are not the most exciting. I'm going to highlight another one here. The New Balance 1080, the V13, is probably the most exciting in that segment. It's $165. But this, the Vomero, the Prima, they're all underrated. That's the workhorse category. This is the one workhorse that I've been reaching for. I have been using the Prima as well, but I pulled a different shoe that I'm going to highlight in this slot. So this and the Prima are both awesome options if you want a firmer but still cushioned and fun daily. This has more fun to it than the Prima because of that rock and roll feeling. And also the other benefit of this is when doing strides, so when picking up the pace, which is a huge part of my aerobic base building regime right now, running faster occasionally to keep that high turnover, to work on my running economy, to work on my strength and power. This is awesome. It has that bite versus something like the 1080 or the GlideRide Max. Those types of shoes don't feel as good for me for running fast because you just sink in to that foam. So Hoka Stack Flow, Hoka Skyflow, $160. Underrated gem right here from the Hoka camp. Next up, another $160 shoe. This is a sleeper pick. People are sleeping on this thing. I've been loving it. Asics Gel Nimbus 26. So I took it out for a first run a few weeks ago. I was blown away at how much bounce this FF Blast Plus foam has, and it's not as soft as the last generation. The last generation was almost as soft as the 1080. They firmed it up, but it still has the gel unit in the heel, which for more relaxed miles and for my natural foot strike, which is I land on the outside heel, almost flat-footed, and then roll forward, I can get that nice compression of the gel, that slightly soft squish. And then this foam, which is firmed up a little bit, has a lot of bounce. It was actively bouncy. So I thought maybe it was a fluke. Maybe my legs were just fresh on that taper week before the race. But I took it out again this morning. for a family run around the neighborhood here with the stroller, about 45 minutes to an hour, and it performed just as good, if not better, for the Relax Mile. So this is another super comfortable shoe. You could have a little rotation here going because Nimbus feels higher drop, the Skyflow is lower drop. If I were gonna pick two of the 160 shoes to rotate, this could be it, or I would do Prima and Vomero, but a solid comfort-oriented shoe that has more bite to it. I did strides in this and it did okay as well. Not as good as the Skyflow, but a great option if you are more of a rear foot heel striking runner and you want some pep in your comfort oriented shoe. Difference between this and the 1080 and those softer shoes, this is gonna feel peppier and have more bite to it. Does have more ground feel than some of the Super Max Stack shoes, and that's the difference between the 160 category and the 180 and 200 category. But for what it is, it's an awesome shoe. It's a solid workhorse, and I'm hoping that the grip is better than the last generation. I've heard that it is. I haven't had the chance to test it in the wet weather yet, but it feels a lot different. In the first run I did, I could feel that bite, and just now right here with my hands, I can feel that bite and that stickiness. So Asics Gel Nimbus in Paris 26. All right, next up here, we're gonna go to the $180 category. Boom. Mag Max. Puma Mag Max. I told you guys, this is my Asics Super Blast. I love this thing. I used this for my first long run back after the Chicago Marathon, so last week, and man, that first long run back after the marathon is always horrible. Well, so I usually do 16 miles, so I'll do the 26, and then both the times where I raced a marathon this year, I did 16 miles, and even just that 2 hour, 16 mile run. We're filming here. Yeah, that 16 mile, 2 hour run is rough. The legs still feel heavy, doesn't feel quite right. This week is when I've started to feel back. Yesterday's workout, I did a hill workout, crushing 450 and 5 flat pace up some hills. That was a really fun one in the Mizuno Wave Rebellion Flow 2. Yes, the Flow 2, not the Pro 2. That thing is fire. It's fire for running fast, getting up on the 4 feet and ripping. But that was the first time I felt back to normal yesterday. So the first few runs back, I did not. And this had the structure and the balance and the support and the assistance to make it easier to run. So for a true recovery shoe, when I want some pep and maybe I'll throw some strides in there, maybe I'll pick up the pace, this has been my go-to. I got it past 100 miles last week and it's been great. So I'm gonna keep pulling for this one. I'm gonna keep it in the rotation. I don't know how many miles I'm gonna go. There's a few shoes here that, because typically what I've been doing this year, because I like testing so many shoes, is just getting them to 100 and then moving on. This is staying in the rotation. I'm going to continue getting my doubles in this thing whenever my legs are feeling beat up and I still want that balance. I'm gonna go for this thing. I retried the Nova Blast 4 this week, and man, wasn't cutting it for me. Any of these other shoes that I've pulled out here, the Skyflow, that has a better rocker to me than the Nova Blast 4. The Gel Nimbus, that has more comfort and a smoother profile than the Nova Blast 4. And this just feels like the Nova Blast 4, everything I liked about that shoe, the structure, the cushion, how light it felt towards the end of long runs. And this is 40 grams heavier in my size, but the bounce makes up for it. This had everything I liked about that package, but amped up to the max. So Mag Max, I highly recommend this if you want a bouncy, protective daily trainer. It also has the Puma grip. This thing is no joke. The Puma grip is no joke. I went through a soaking wet slick street in this shoe. I've also tested it across a bunch of the other shoes and it's great. But soaking wet slick shoe, I tried to, you do that little boogie test where you're shimmying your feet. It does not budge. So gonna be the best wet weather trainer out there for the winter if you want a Super Max Stack shoe. Comfort is great. It's gonna stand up to hundreds of miles. I'm excited to continue beating this one down in the rotation. This is not going anywhere. Again, I told you guys, I usually take things out at 100 so I can move on and test other things, but this one is staying in, just like the next one. Last one up here at the $200 price point. You guys already know what it is, the Brooks Glycerin Max. This one has got the streaks in a chokehold right now. You go on the Supwell app, it was Cielo X1 really was that viral race shoe on the Supwell app in the hobby jogger community over the summer and over the beginning of the fall. And now the Glycerin Max just got the game in a chokehold. The thing is, surprisingly, there's also a lot of Glycerin Max going up for sale on the Supwell app because people are buying this expecting it to be something different. So this is what the Glycerin Max is. If you like the New Balance 1080 and want more of it, more cushion, more comfort, a more padded tongue, a more padded upper, a lot more stack underfoot, that's the Glycerin Max. Look at these two things. You can see, look at the tongue on the New Balance. Look how thick and padded it is. People use the word plush a lot. It's like a pillow on the tongue. Same thing on the Glycerin Max. Look at the material of the 1080. I've said this before, it's like the grandmother's sweater that she knits you. You can, a little ASMR upper test. Same exact thing on the Glycerin Max. This is a comfort-oriented max stack shoe. You have the Super Blast 2. That is the long run speed cruiser. That one is designed to be the bigger runner's best friend, or the 330 marathoner's best friend for marathon training, for those people who are going to be putting down more power, taking more steps. You have the Mag Max. This is the versatile cruiser, designed to be the bounciest, most protective workhorse out there. And Glycerin Max, it's right in the name, glycerin. That is the comfort shoe in the Brooks lineup. This is designed to be the maximum comfort shoe. So some people are buying this expecting it to be a Mag Max, expecting it to be a Mach X2, expecting it to be a Super Blast. It's not. If you want the best shoe possible for your recovery days, for your everyday miles, if you're in a period of training where you're running a lot of miles and just want comfort. So right now, and it might be counterintuitive, but during base building, I might be running my everyday miles faster. We often think of base building as just crushing a lot of relaxed miles, easy, zone 2, but because I'm not doing these grinder marathon style workouts, I have more juice to run my everyday miles 10 to 20 seconds faster, so I'm not going for the Glycerin Max on a lot of my runs. But when I do those family runs that are super relaxed, or if I were in a period of training where, hey, I'm slamming a 14-mile tempo at marathon pace, you best believe I'm pulling for the Glycerin Max for my recovery double that day, or for the recovery run the next day. There's a squirrel on my roof going ham. We gotta cut those trees, partner. Oh, gosh dang, there's a lot of things you gotta do as a homeowner out here. Yeah, you better believe I'm pulling this if I want the ultimate in comfort. So this one is staying in my rotation. The way that I've been using it over the past few weeks is those family runs where I know I'm gonna be going 10-minute miles, 11-minute miles with the squad plodding around the neighborhood, and I just wanna be comfortable. That's what this thing is great at. The other thing is, though, last run I did in it, it was an 8-miler. I was fired up. I was juiced up. You guys saw in the 100-mile review. I said my last 100-mile review, we're not doing them anymore. I did an 8-miler. We closed it out with 8 miles at 7:06 or 7 flat pace. So it does have some get up and go. You have two different types of foam here. So you have a softer foam in the back and a firmer version of it in the front. So as you're running fast and popping off the forefoot, you get more of that bounce. So it's not completely limited to relaxed miles in a way that the 1080 was for me. I don't even know if I ever attempted to do strides in the 1080 V13. Whereas in the Glycerin Max, I have done strides in this. I've done some fast strides, some 430 pace and 440 pace strides, and it does really well because, I mean, look at this aggressive rocker in the front. Even compared to the Mag Max, it's a lot more aggressive. The ride of this is really nice though. So of these two, this is a very common comparison. More structure, more support, firmer, faster. This is gonna be better if you wanna pick up the pace versus the Glycerin Max. This is gonna be the option if you just want comfort. So I don't know if I think the mailbox guy is coming. Okay, he's coming. He's coming. Thank you. Pull up with the junk mail. Yeah, they're already trying to get me to donate money. I just got the degree. Chill out with that. Yeah, if you want the utmost in comfort, check out the Glycerin Max. This is my favorite max stack recovery comfort oriented shoe. I got flies on me, there's cars going around, but we did it. That's another One Take Saturday in the books. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Let me know what your favorite shoes are right now too, by the way. And go sign up for the Supwall app, $1 per month.